Now, today I want to bring you a television show that I found a couple episodes on a VHS tape at the thrift store, where I find all my VHS tapes. Gilligan's Island. Now, this is a couple of episodes from the first season, so Gilligan's Island. Okay, who doesn't remember this, right? I mean, this was already in reruns when I first saw it as a kid. It ran from, I think, 1964 to 66 or 67. Didn't actually run that long. And the first season, of which these two episodes are from, was actually broadcast in black and white. Now, this is like the colorized version I saw on here. Turner logo is on there. It's featured very prominently in this tape. So yeah, whatever. I mean, it makes no difference to me. I'm sure that even some of the reruns that I was watching as a kid or a teenager or whatever, those were probably colorized too. The premise of Gilligan's Island, do I need to explain it? I guess there's a chance you haven't seen this before. Okay, yeah, the tale of the stranded castaways, 7 castaways. I mean, I could sing the theme song for you, but copyright issues and whatever. You got your skipper, and you got Gilligan, hence the title of the show, because I guess it's all about Gilligan, right? You get a millionaire and his wife. Yes, Thurston Howell III. And his wife, Lovey. I don't even know what her actual name is, but he just calls her Lovey. You get the movie star, Ginger. And you get the Professor and Marianne here on Gilligan's Island. Funny thing about that theme song, actually, is that it was different in the first season. They actually changed the lyrics in the second season, just slightly. But in the first season, they didn't even mention the Professor and Marianne. They just said, "And the rest here on Gilligan's Isle." And yeah, they cut those two right out of there for whatever reason. I guess they didn't think they would be popular characters. But I guess the show was very well received, and the other actors are like, "Hey man, you didn't say our names." So they changed it to the Professor and Marianne. Now, okay, of course, yeah, they're on board the SS Minnow, a 3-hour tour from, I don't know, Hawaii, I guess. 3 hours, and they get blown off course so severely that they end up on some other deserted island. It produces all the food they'd ever need for whatever reason, or they just subsist on coconuts. And I mean, they don't go into details a lot about these things. I mean, like, on their island, they have these pretty well-constructed, like, huts. I mean, I know they're just movie sets or whatever, but I mean, like, intricately woven palm leaves made into walls and stuff like that, and bamboo poles and stuff, and everything's like just like factory perfect. That's pretty amazing. I mean, they could build themselves a little village and all the amenities that they need to coexist on this island until they get rescued. But they can't fix like what they show to be like a 2-foot hole in a boat. What the hell, man? Like, basically, it's just, you know, here's a comedy premise. They're castaways. I mean, I used to watch this when I was a kid, and I don't think it's made for kids, but it's made to be goofy, lighthearted, the Beverly Hillbillies, you know, that kind of thing. It's got a pretty strong premise and a memorable one, and it's pretty flexible. They can do whatever they want. It's just that, like, every episode has to end up with them still stuck on the island. Until the sequel in the 70s, the Return from Gilligan's Island, or Escape from Gilligan's Island, I don't know, I'm mixing it up with Planet of the Apes maybe, that found them getting rescued from the island, had an hour-long comedy special, and then they go out on the boat again, and they get trapped on the exact same island at the end of that show, and then they're back on Gilligan's Island. The first episode on here is called Waiting for Watubi, and the skipper, him and Gilligan dig up this idol on the beach somewhere, and it turns out that the skipper thinks that he's been cursed by this idol. I don't know, for whatever reason, he has like a history with this particular native deity. I don't know, something about sailors in the sea and like something that happened to him in the Navy or something like that. Who cares? But But yeah, so the skipper thinks he's been cursed by this idol, and so he starts going kind of insane, and he's got like super bad luck, and all these bad things happen to him. He gets whacked in the face a bunch of times, and gets knocked over a bunch of times by Gilligan, and all these bad luck things happen to him. He starts thinking that the only thing that can save me now is the witch doctor, the Watubi, the great Watubi that healed me before in the past or something. And so Gilligan has to dress up as the great Watubi and come in and perform a ceremony and, convince the skipper that he actually is this witch doctor and that he's going to cure his curse or lift the curse or cure his madness or whatever. And it works, and it's hilarity ensues, right? Second episode on here is called Angel on the Island, and it starts off with Ginger, and Ginger's really depressed because, she was a big movie star, a really famous actress anyway, and she was supposed to be in this, Broadway play, so she's depressed because she doesn't get to perform in this play, and all the others on the island, they feel really sorry for her because they all love Ginger and everything, and it's too bad that she never had her dreams come true to be in a Broadway show or whatever. So Gilligan, the skipper, and the Howells, they get together and they put on a stage play so that Ginger can star in it. And yeah, and what's the point? There's only 7 of you, and all 7 of you are in the play or running the play. Who's there to even enjoy it? And they get pretty elaborate costumes, with gold. They're doing this Egyptian thing, like Cleopatra and Mark Antony or something like that. And they've got enough what looks to be gold leaf or gold foil or whatever to make these elaborate Cleopatra costumes and shit. And it's and you're starving though, and you're eating coconuts all the time, and your house is made out of sticks. Where the fuck did you get this gold stuff? This is at the point where it's okay, we've established these characters. They're simple enough character concepts that we don't need to really flesh the story out too much. Let's just have fun with it. This character. This character. This is how they would interact doing this thing. And that's the gist of Gilligan's Island. It's 7 random people, all mashed together, and how they interact and solve problems or create problems or, create an ongoing comedy series, I suppose. Yeah, Gilligan's Island was a kind of, I guess, part of my childhood. I mean, it was always on after school. I would watch this before dinner sort of thing. Gilligan's Island was on every day. I know that I've seen in the past every single episode of this show. I don't remember it that much. I mean, other than the color of Gilligan's shirt and the skipper and the professor, was the professor, and Ginger was hot and Marianne was cute, and the Howells were pretty funny, and I don't know. It's not something I love though. I would never go out and buy the complete DVD box set of every episode of the Gilligan's Island series. Or even bother to get a subscription service that features it. I kind of like this. I found a random video cassette, and for $1, I got to watch 2 old-ass episodes of Gilligan's Island from the 60s before I was even born. If you really like Gilligan's Island, obviously you're already watching it, so my recommendation isn't going to steer you towards Gilligan's Island. If you don't really remember this from when you were a kid or don't know much about it, it's worth checking out. It's goofy, it's humor, television humor from the 1960s. Pretty much the Munsters, the Beverly Hillbillies, just a clever concept and a dumb sitcom. So I guess to give this tape a letter grade, I'd go something like a C+. C+ is my catch-all for something that I didn't really like it that much, but I didn't mind it. It was okay. I did kind of chuckle a few times at the hijinks of Gilligan and the skipper, and them hitting each other in the head with coconuts and stuff. And yeah, it's dumb, but it's not meant to be super serious or super deep or anything like that, so it fulfills its purpose. And I don't not recommend it, so I'll have to say C+. Yeah, there you go. So until the next time we meet castaways, have a good one out there.